So we've now finished 1 month in the Championship, so I am here today to give you guys my August Championship Team of the Month, the best 11 players from the previous 4 weeks of the Championship. Now we're going to be giving out a few awards today. I'm going to be giving you guys my Manager of the Month, my Goal of the Month, as well as my starting 11. I'll also be giving you guys a bench. Let me know in the comments down below who from your side do you think belongs in this Team of the Month. And I'll also be giving you guys a player who I think's had a bit of a disaster for the opener of the start of the season. So I'll look to make this into a monthly series, so if you do go in to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you get all your thoughts in the comments down below. But without any further ado, let's hop into this one. So before we do get into my starting 11, we'll start out with the bench and some honourable mentions. Starting out with my goalkeeper on the bench, I'm going to go for Freddie Woodman of Swansea City. Had a very good start to the season on loan from Newcastle United. I think that goalkeeper was a bit of an area of weakness for Swansea last season. They look to have addressed that now. I think that the 22-year-old has done absolutely superb so far. He's kept 3 clean sheets, was brilliant in the game they had against Derby where he got the Man of the Match award, and against Leeds last week. Up next on the bench, I'm going to go for Bristol City defender Tommy Rowe. I think that with the system that Lee Johnson's been using at Bristol City this season, with the 3 at the back, the sort of wing backs on the other side have been absolutely pivotal to that system, and Tommy Rowe on the free transfer looks to be a bit of a bargain so far. His overall performances so far have been very consistent. He scored in the game they had against Birmingham and last week against Middlesbrough. Calvin Phillips from Leeds United, I just think has picked off from where he left off from last season, really. Pivotal to the Bielsa system, dropping in between the 2 centre-backs to receive the ball and get Leeds moving going forward. On and off the ball, he is absolutely fantastic, and I think that now a lot of people are seeing just how much Calvin Phillips actually brings to this Leeds side, and what a disaster it would have been if Leeds were to lose him in the summer. Johnny Williams from Charlton Athletic, been one of their pivotal players in midfield so far, already bagging 4 assists in 5 starts for Charlton. He's been the player providing service for the likes of Lyle Taylor and Conor Gallagher, and deservedly gets a place on the bench. Grady Diangana looks to be an absolutely fantastic purchase for West Brom for the season on loan from West Ham. Already in 2 starts and 2 appearances from the bench, he scored 3 goals. When he was introduced at Luton at half-time, he won them that game, scoring 2 goals off the bench. And then that fantastic finish against Blackburn last weekend as well. I think that in terms of a skillful player, he's definitely one to watch out for. Andy Weimann from Bristol City is also going to make it onto the bench. I think quite an underrated player actually in terms of a forward in the Championship. Already this season getting 2 goals and bagging 2 assists. With an average match rating of 7.35, he got the Man of the Match award against Derby and has already played in a number of roles, either playing up front, in behind the striker or on the right hand side. And then to finish off the bench, we have Mitrovic from Fulham, scoring 5 goals in 6 appearances. He scored in every single game apart from the opening weekend. I don't think his Fulham's come as a massive surprise, probably is the favourite to win the Golden Boot this season, and he's certainly started off well with Fulham. Before we do get into the starting 11, I'll give you a couple of other honourable mentions. The likes of Erebo Eze, Lewis Graben, Ajaria, Ollie Watkins, Tom Kearney could have all made it into this side, so it was pretty hard to pick a first 11. But without any further ado, let's hop into my starting 11. So coming in as my goalkeeper, I'm actually going to go for Daniel Bentley of Bristol City. Now, it's always hard to come up with a goalkeeper of the month, because who do you give it to? Do you give it to the goalkeeper who's kept the most clean sheets, who's conceded the fewest amount of goals, or do you give it to the goalkeeper who's made the most amount of saves? It's always a difficult one to come up with, but for me personally, I think that Daniel Bentley has won Bristol City a lot of points already this season with some of the saves he has made. Perhaps Bristol City aren't quite as watertight at the back as they were last season. They're currently in the top 10 for facing the most shots on target against them, but Daniel Bentley has stood equal to a lot of them, and I think in a lot of performances he actually come up with some clutch moments for Bristol City. In the games they had against Birmingham, Derby, Hull and Middlesbrough, he produced big saves in all of those games. I think without him in between the 6 so far this season, Bristol City would be a little bit further down the table. And considering he was someone who had a bit of an inconsistent season last time, I think he started out really well at Bristol City. To fit everyone in that I want to into this side, I'm going to go for a 3 at the back formation. So coming in as the first defender, I'm going to go for Jason Pearce of Charlton Athletic, someone who has got quite a bit of experience at this level, played for Leeds United for quite a bit in the Championship, but coming up with Charlton, I think he's been absolutely brilliant in the heart of that defence with Tom Lockyer. I think he's been absolutely colossal in Charlton's last 2 matches where they picked up clean sheets against Brentford and Reading, where they were put under the cosh for, parts of those games. But defensively, Charlton have stood really strong so far this season, only conceding 5 goals. I think that Pearce has played a huge part in that. Leeds United have already kept 4 clean sheets so far this season, and the player who's played a massive part in that has been Ben White. Obviously, after the departure of Pontus Jansson in the summer, Ben White was the player who came in to fill his boots. Initially, I wasn't sure how good that replacement would be, but what a player Ben White has been for Leeds so far on loan from Brighton. In terms of a ball-playing centre-back who's comfortable on the ball, he complements Cooper excellently, has an average match rating of 7.48, has over 87% pass accuracy. I don't think you could build a centre-back more suited to Bielsa's style, and so he makes his way into my team of the month. And then to finish off the back 3, I'm going to go for Mike van der Hoorn of Swansea City. I think that everyone's enjoyed watching some of the football that Swansea have played going forward so far this season, but just as important has been their defensive record, and is the large reason why they are currently sat top of the Championship. And I think that when we bring up the conversation for who is the best centre-half in the Championship, Van der Hoorn has to be in that. So far this season, Swansea have kept 3 clean sheets, Van der Hoorn being the leader at the back, played a massive role in that. He also scored the winning goal against Hull City earlier on in the season. I think he's one of the best for aerial duels won in the Championship, and has been an absolutely colossal defender for them so far. So as you can see on screen now, there is my back three and goalkeeper that I've gone for my team of the month. Let's now get into the midfield. So starting things out with Pablo Hernandez. I think that when I was making my team of the month videos last season, Pablo Hernandez and Timu Pukki were the people who most consistently made it into those videos. So we'll see if Hernandez can recreate that this year, but I think he started out the season absolutely excellently. With 2 goals and 2 assists, he's been a vital player for Leeds so far. On the opening day against Bristol City, he absolutely tore them apart. A fantastic goal. He set up Bamford's goal in that game as well and deservedly got the man of the match. He scored the following week against Nottingham Forest, and I think myself personally, I most enjoy watching him in the game against Stoke. Some of the passes were absolutely outrageous in that game. He got 1 assist but was involved in all 3 goals. I think it was the second goal that Leeds scored that day. I think 1 pass completely took the whole Stoke side out of the game. I think he's got vision like no one else in the league, and for me personally, I think he deserves his place this month. Next in midfield, we're going to have Preston North End's 50 grand Daniel Johnson. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's been outstanding for us so far this season, scoring 4 goals and picking up 3 assists. He's already been involved in 7 goals in just 5 appearances. Every single game that he's played in so far this season, he's either registered a goal or an assist. He's had an average match rating of 7.48. I think that a large part of why he has been playing so well is because his roles changed from last season. Last season he mostly played as a deep line playmaker, where on the whole he was quite inconsistent. This season though, he's been pushed up to that number 10 role where he doesn't really have many defensive duties. His role is to get the ball down and go forward, and he's been absolutely fantastic in that role so far. It's where he played in our promotion season in League One, and he really seems to be thriving in that role once again this season under Alex Neil. The next position in centre mid was a bit of a toss-up between John Swift and Ejaria. I've decided to go for John Swift just because he's played more matches so far this season, but no one in the Championship has created more chances than Reading's midfielder John Swift this season, with 23 chances already created in the month of August. The next player along is Click from Leeds with 17. So that just goes to show what impact that Swift has had on this Reading side so far, who on the whole I think have looked quite good going forward. He's got 4 assists and a goal, and quite similar to Daniel Johnson, in his previous few seasons in the Championship, I've always found John Swift to be a little bit frustrating, a little bit inconsistent. You can tell that there is a quality player there, but the game sometimes just seems to pass him by. That hasn't been the case for him this season though, where he's really looked to make an impact on every game that he's featured in so far, and long may it continue because he's been excellent with an average match rating of 7.64. And then to round off the midfield, we're going to have Ivan Caballero of Fulham with 3 goals and 2 assists this far into the season. He's already proved to be a vital player and a potent addition to that attacking lineup. He scored the winner against Huddersfield with a fantastic curling effort. He absolutely tore Millwall apart with 2 goals and an assist, and also set up Mitrovic for the equaliser against Cardiff. I think that in terms of quality on the ball, the best out and that winger, Cavallero's got to be somewhere up there in that conversation. In terms of skill, vision and end product, there's not many better in the league at the moment. And I dread to think how many goals him, Mitrovic and Knockout are going to get between them this season. So as you can see, that is now my defence and midfield completed. We'll now move into the strikers. I'm going to go for 3 strikers in this team because it was too hard not to leave one of these guys out. So starting out the attacking lineup with Borja Baston of Swansea City. I mentioned him in a previous video when I was ranking Championship strikers. I backed Borja Baston to get over 20 goals this season, and he's already a quarter of the way there after just 1 month, scoring 5 goals in 6 appearances and also bagging an assist as well. I think a lot of people thought that Swansea this season may struggle for goals after the departures of the likes of Daniel James and Ollie McBurney as well, but they already had the natural replacements in the squad to come back from loan spells in Andre Ayew and especially Borja Baston. He's been an integral figure to them going forward so far this season, has scored in 4 of their matches and picked up 2 Man of the Match awards. In the game Swansea had against Preston, he was involved in all 3 goals, scoring 2 and getting an assist. He's a very tricky player to come up against and is probably one of the most clinical strikers in the league at the moment. My next striker in my team is going to be Jordan Hugill. I think he's been absolutely superb so far this season, scoring 5 goals. What I like about Jordan Hugill so far is that all his goals have come from open play. He's just instantly clicked into this QPR side. He's going to look to put behind him what was a pretty disappointing loan spell last time with Middlesbrough. After just 1 month at QPR, he's only 1 goal behind how many he got for last season. He only scored 6 in the league for Borough, and this time in 5 slots for QPR he scored 5 goals. He won them the game against Sheffield Wednesday, was brilliant on the season opener against Stoke, and the goal he scored against Wigan in midweek was an absolutely terrific finish. So Jordan Hugill for me, well worth his entry into this team. And then to finish off the team, I am going to go for Lyle Taylor of Charlton Athletic. Now this one was also a bit of a toss-up between either Lyle Taylor or Conor Gallagher. I think it's fair to put either of them into this side because they've both been excellent so far, but for me personally, I'm going to go for Lyle Taylor. I've really enjoyed watching him so far. He's adapted to the league very well, this being his first season in Championship football. He scored 5 goals and got an assist in his 6 appearances so far. I think a lot has been made of his penalty technique. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm just a massive fan of it. It is quite cocky, you know, just casually walking up to the ball and putting it in the bottom corner, but I I'm a big fan of it. I think that he's going to be an exciting player to watch throughout the season. He's already picked up 2 Man of the Match awards and has an average match rating of 7.27, scoring in 5 of his 6 appearances so far in the league. So Lyle Taylor deservedly making up this team of the month. So guys, as you can see on screen now, there are my selections for my August Championship team of the month. Do you guys agree? Have I forgotten about anyone? Let me know about them in the comments down below. Let me know who from your side you think deserves this place in the team. But I'd say I'm pretty happy with my selections. I think that that's a solid lineup for August. Now the manager of the month is quite a difficult one. For me, it's a toss-up between Steve Cooper of Swansea City and Lee Bowyer of Charlton Athletic. I'll leave you guys a poll to vote on for who you think deserves to win the August manager of the month. It's a really tough one because both managers have done absolutely unbelievable jobs. And me giving it to one manager is by no means taken away from the other because they both deserve to win it because they're currently sat in the top 2. I don't think that anyone expected those two to have started out as well as they have done, and it is a testament to how well each manager has done so far. I think for me, I'm just going to give it to Cooper of Swansea just because they've been pretty much flawless throughout the month so far. They're sat top of the Championship. It's his first season in English football. They beat Leeds United away from home and sat top of the Championship. You can't ask for much more, but that's by no means taken away from Bowyer at Charlton, who's probably working on the smallest budget in the league and has done a superb job with a newly promoted club. Then in terms of my goal of the month, a lot of contenders for this one as well. I'll leave some polls for you guys to vote on. I'm a bit of a sucker for a good team goal. So for me personally, as good as some of the strikes and hits have been so far this season, I'm actually going to give it to Lewis Grabban for his first goal against Fulham. I thought it was an absolutely brilliantly worked team goal. Every single Nottingham Forest player had a touch on the ball before it went in. It's just the sort of football that I like watching. So for my goal of the month, I'm going to give it to Lewis Grabban for his first against Fulham. And then as for my player who had a disaster of a month, this one is going to be pretty obvious for August. Of course, it's going to go to Jack Butland, getting dropped from the Stoke City squad after dropping clanger after clanger. Performances against Charlton and Preston where he had some absolute howlers. August has been a month to forget for Jack Butland, and it'll be interesting to see if he can somehow manage to find his way back into that Stoke squad throughout the season. Obviously, he's been dropped from the national squad as well. It's definitely not been the best month for him. But that, guys, will now wrap it up for this video and my August roundup. So if you did go in to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. At the end of August, that is how the championship table is lining up. Although we are now into an international break, I do have quite a few videos coming out over the next few days, which I'm excited to bring you guys. So make sure you do stick around on the channel for them. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up. So like I said, make sure you do leave a like if you did go in to enjoy. Make sure you subscribe for a bit of regular championship content. But apart from that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.